The city of Zalara was quiet under a red sky. Smoke rose from the buildings that had been burned in recent conflicts. The streets were cracked and empty, except for the small group of humans and aliens moving carefully through the rubble. Sergeant Luke Carter, a human soldier, walked at the front. He wore his armor and carried his rifle. His eyes scanned every corner. He was used to danger, but something about this world made him uneasy. The air smelled sharp, like metal and dust. They were here on a peace mission. Earth wanted to meet with the Zalari Council. The Zalari were a proud alien race with silver skin and violet eyes. Queen Riala, their ruler, was coming to speak to both humans and aliens. Luke had heard stories of her wisdom and strength. He had also heard of her strict traditions. The human team moved toward the central plaza, where the council had arranged a public ceremony. The plaza was huge, surrounded by tall towers with strange carvings that glowed faintly. The air shimmered with alien technology. Humans whispered among themselves, unsure if they should bow or stand straight. Luke stayed calm, observing the surroundings. He had learned that calmness often saved lives. Then the crowd quieted. A group of royal guards appeared, moving with precise steps. Their armor was silver and blue, and their weapons glinted in the red light. Queen Riala stepped forward. She was taller than most aliens he had seen, with long robes that shimmered like liquid silver. Her violet eyes scanned the plaza. She smiled politely but with authority. People bowed. Humans followed the protocol they had been taught. Suddenly, a loud hum cut through the air, a sharp, high-pitched sound. Luke's head snapped to the side. From the far end of the plaza, a weapon discharged a bright green energy blast. It moved fast, straight toward Queen Riala. Without thinking, Luke reacted. He ran forward and jumped in front of her. The blast hit him squarely in the chest. His armor absorbed much of the energy, but the impact threw him back. He hit the ground hard. The wind knocked out of him. Smoke rose from his armor. Humans shouted. Aliens gasped. Guards rushed forward. Queen Riala froze for a moment, her eyes wide. Then she fell to her knees beside him. "Are you hurt?" she asked, her voice calm but urgent. Luke coughed, trying to stand, but his legs were weak. He could hear the crowd panicking behind him. Alien guards formed a protective circle around them. Medics ran forward. Human medics checked him first, then alien healers used strange tools that glowed. Luke felt a warm sensation as the energy passed through his body. He was alive, but barely. Queen Riala's advisor, an older Zalari named Marin, whispered something in her ear. Luke could not understand the words, but he saw the queen nod slowly. Marin's expression was serious. Queen Riala turned her eyes back to him. She reached out, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Your life has been given for mine," she said. "Our traditions demand a life oath." Luke frowned. He did not understand. He was trained to fight and protect people. He had risked his life many times. But a life oath? It sounded like some alien ceremony, not something that mattered. He tried to speak, but his voice was weak. The medics moved him carefully to a medical bay nearby. The room was bright and cold, with strange devices lining the walls. Alien doctors examined him, scanning his body with glowing instruments. Human Dr. Nancy Lewis, part of the team, shook her head. "He almost didn't make it," she said. "Your armor saved you, but barely." Queen Riala entered the room. She walked slowly, her guards behind her. Luke could see her eyes studying him, calm and steady. She knelt beside his bed. "You have done more than I could ask," she said. "In our tradition, anyone who takes a life-threatening blow for the Queen is bound by a life oath. It is not a reward. It is a responsibility." Luke blinked. He did not know what to say. I was only doing my job," he managed. The Queen's violet eyes softened. "In your world, perhaps it is duty. In mine, it is honor, and honor is sacred." The medical staff left them alone for a moment. Marin, standing nearby, explained more. The life oath is a bond. It means the Queen owes you protection, resources, and loyalty. You, in turn, must swear to protect her and act in her best interest. It is binding. It is permanent. Luke's mind raced. Permanent. He had fought in wars, seen friends die, and survived because of luck. A permanent bond to an alien queen? It was more than he could imagine. He tried to protest, but Riala gently pressed her hand to his chest. "Do not worry about the details now," she said. "The ceremony will make it clear. Your body must heal first." The ceremony was simple but powerful. In a small hall, witnesses from both human and alien sides were present. Queen Riala wore her ceremonial robes. Luke was still in his armor, patched from the blast. She took his hand and placed it over his chest. A small device glowed between them. Words in the trade language echoed softly. "From this day, my life is tied to yours. My house owes you protection, favor, and shared fate." Luke felt a strange warmth spread through him. He did not know what to think. The device hummed and glowed. Marin nodded. The Queen released his hand. "The oath is made," she said. Humans in the room looked confused. Colonel Daniel Cross, Luke's commander, frowned deeply. He whispered to one of the aides, "I hope we know what we are getting into." Outside, the crowd in the plaza had begun to calm. Rumors spread quickly. A human soldier had taken a deadly blow meant for the Queen. The Queen had bound him to her with an ancient oath. Some whispered that humans were brave. Others worried about political consequences. Later, in the quiet of the medical bay, Luke tried to sit up. His body ached, but he wanted to understand. Queen Riala entered again, this time more relaxed. "I know you do not fully understand," she said. "Our traditions are old. They may seem strange, but your act will be remembered not just by me, but by all my people." Luke nodded slowly. He was tired, but he felt something he had never felt before. Respect. Not just for the Queen, but for her people. He had only acted out of instinct, but they saw it as courage and honor. "When I am healed, I will serve," he said. "I will do my duty." Queen Riala smiled faintly. "And when you do, you will see the depth of what you have joined. It is not just protection, it is trust, history, and hope." The night fell over Zalara City. Lights glimmered in the distance, reflecting off the cracked buildings. Human soldiers kept watch, still wary. Alien guards patrolled silently. Luke lay back on the bed, thinking about what had happened. He had taken a bullet for a queen, survived a blast, and unknowingly entered a bond that would change his life forever. Outside the medical bay window, the stars of a distant galaxy shone. Luke wondered about Earth, about home, about what his friends would think if they knew. But in that quiet moment, he realized one thing. He had made a choice. He had acted without fear. And now he was bound to a queen and a people he barely knew. The next days would be difficult. He would have to learn their language, their ways, and the meaning of the life oath. He would face politics, traditions, and enemies he could not yet see. But for the first time, he felt a connection beyond his own world. The Queen, Riala, had looked at him and seen not just a human soldier, but a protector, a symbol, a bridge between two worlds. Luke closed his eyes, letting the soft hum of the alien medics' machines lull him to sleep. Tomorrow, the real challenge would begin. But tonight, he was alive, honored, and bound by a promise that would change everything. The next morning, Luke woke in the alien palace. The bed was softer than anything he had slept on in a long time. Sunlight shone through tall windows, casting violet patterns on the walls. Outside, he could hear the faint sounds of the city waking up. Alien voices echoed in strange tones, some friendly, some commanding. He rubbed his shoulder where the blast had hit. It still hurt, but the alien medics had done their work well. He sat up slowly, careful not to strain himself. A knock came at the door. It was Queen Riala, wearing a simple robe. She smiled faintly. "Good morning," she said. "I hope you slept well." Luke nodded. "Better than I expected," he admitted. I still do not understand everything about this oath. You said it is permanent?" Riala nodded. She motioned for him to follow her. "Yes, in Zalari culture, a life oath is not just a promise. It is a bond between people, stronger than friendship, stronger than loyalty in battle. It is made in front of witnesses, and it changes your place in society. Your actions now are tied to mine, and mine to yours." Luke frowned. "So I cannot just leave? Go back to Earth?" Riala shook her head gently. "You may travel, but the bond remains. If my life is threatened, you must act. If you refuse, the dishonor falls on both of us. The oath is serious, human. Not a medal or a ceremony. It is law." He took a deep breath. The weight of it pressed down on him. He had risked his life many times, but he had never signed a contract like this. It was not a paper. It was blood and honor and culture. He wondered how his fellow soldiers would react if they knew. Riala led him through long halls. The walls were lined with glowing symbols, some moving slightly as if alive. Young Zalari guards passed silently, bowing their heads in respect. Luke noticed that they watched him carefully. Some were curious, others wary. He realized he was now a figure in palace life, a symbol of something bigger than himself. They entered a council chamber. Humans and aliens were already present, discussing treaties and agreements. Luke stayed quiet at first. The Zalari nobles whispered among themselves when they saw him. Some eyes were curious, some were skeptical. One older noble, Lord Zevan, looked at him with clear disapproval, his lips twisted in a thin line. Riala spoke, introducing Luke to the group. "This is Sergeant Luke Carter of Earth. He saved my life. By our traditions, we are bound in a life oath." The room fell silent. Murmurs spread. Luke felt a flush rise in his cheeks. Some humans nodded politely, others looked uneasy. Some Zalari whispered sharply. One noble said, "A human! Bound to the Queen? Absurd!" Riala ignored the comment. "The life oath is older than many of you. It recognizes bravery and honor. This human's action meets the highest standard. He is worthy." Luke straightened. He did not want to be praised, but he felt the truth in her words. He had acted without thinking, yes, but his training and instincts had saved the Queen. Now he had to live with the consequences. After the meeting, Riala and Luke walked in the palace gardens. The gardens were strange and beautiful. Plants with violet leaves and silver stems grew alongside pools of glowing water. Small creatures flew in the air, chirping in alien tones. Luke marveled at it all. "This palace, it is incredible," he said, "and yet I feel like a stranger here." Riala nodded. "You are. At first, all who take a life oath feel that way. You must learn our ways, understand our rules. It will not be easy, but you will also see the value in them." Luke glanced at her. "And what if I fail?" Riala's eyes were steady. "Then we both suffer dishonor. That is why the oath is serious. You are not just protecting me. You are upholding the trust of my people. Every action matters." Later, Luke met Lyra, a young Zalari guard assigned to help him adjust. She was tall and strong, with quick movements and sharp eyes. She did not smile much, but her respect for him grew after seeing his courage. "You survived the blast," she said. "Most humans would be dead. I do not know why you are alive, but I will teach you. If you are to serve the Queen, you must understand our ways." They spent hours together in the palace armory and training grounds. Lyra showed him how Zalari warriors moved, how they held their weapons, and how their rituals worked. Luke shared human techniques, improvisation, and strategy, both learned from each other. As the days passed, Luke began to understand the life oath more deeply. It was not just a rule or a formality. It was a living bond. People treated him differently. The palace staff bowed in respect. Guards followed his actions carefully. Even Zalari children whispered his name, amazed that a human could act with such bravery. But not all were pleased. Lord Zeven watched silently from the council chambers. He did not trust humans. He whispered to allies, plotting quietly. This life oath, it is dangerous. If the Queen relies on him, our traditions weaken. We must act before he gains more influence. Luke was unaware of these plots. He focused on learning and understanding. He learned alien customs, language nuances, and the importance of honor in ways humans rarely considered. He helped in small tasks, assisting medics, checking security, and observing council meetings. He noticed how careful Riala was with every word and action. She measured her decisions against centuries of tradition. One evening, Riala invited Luke to the palace balcony. The sky was full of stars. Distant planets glowed faintly. The wind carried a sharp metallic scent. "You are learning quickly," she said, "but there will be tests. Some will challenge you, some will try to manipulate you. The oath is not just about saving my life, it is about proving your heart and mind are strong enough to honor it." Luke looked out at the stars. "I understand. I will do my best. Even if I do not understand everything now, I will try." Riala nodded. "That is all we ask at first. In time you will see that the life oath is not a burden, but a bridge. It connects us, human and Zalari, in ways neither of our people could have imagined." As he left the balcony, Luke felt a strange mix of pride and fear. He had stepped into something bigger than himself. His actions had bound him to a queen, a culture, and a people. The life oath was not a medal. It was responsibility, trust, and duty. He had survived a blast meant to kill the queen, and now he would live with the consequences every day. The next morning, a small alarm sounded in the palace. An energy reactor in one wing had failed. Luke rushed with the guards to the site. The lights flickered. Alarms screamed. He moved quickly, following human instincts while Lyra directed the guards. Together, they examined the malfunctioning reactor. "This does not look like an accident," Luke said. His eyes scanned the system. "Someone tampered with it." Lyra nodded. "We must fix it quickly before more people are hurt. Then we can find the culprit." They worked through the night, combining human engineering skills and Zalari knowledge. Luke crawled through narrow shafts and checked wiring. Lyra protected the area and coordinated the guards. Hours later, they stabilized the reactor. No one was hurt. Riala arrived when it was done. She placed her hand on Luke's shoulder. "You have acted well," she said. "Your loyalty and skill are clear. The oath is honored. We will deal with those who tried to harm us. Your courage has saved many." Luke felt a quiet satisfaction. He did not want praise, only to do what was right. He realized that the life oath was more than a rule. It gave him purpose. It tied him to someone he respected, someone who respected him. Later, Marin spoke privately to Riala. "Lord Zevan is planning more. The human is a symbol now. Some may try to use him to create fear or unrest. We must be careful." Riala nodded. She looked at Luke from afar. He was training quietly in the yard, his movements precise. She smiled faintly. He did not know the full danger yet, but she trusted him. He had proven his worth, and the life oath would not be broken. As night fell, Luke sat in the palace gardens thinking. He was far from Earth, bound to a queen he had barely known, in a culture he barely understood. Yet he felt alive, useful, and connected. The life oath was no longer a mystery. It was a living promise, and he had accepted it with his actions, not words. He knew challenges were coming. Political enemies, jealous nobles, and unseen threats lurked. But he also knew that he had a queen who trusted him, a guard who respected him, and a purpose larger than himself. For the first time in a long while, he felt ready. And so, under the alien stars, Luke Carter prepared for the days ahead. He was no longer just a human soldier. He was a guardian, bound by honor, skill, and a life oath that would shape the future of two worlds. The palace was quiet in the early morning, but the tension in the air was thick. Luke Carter moved carefully through the halls, practicing movements and reviewing what he had learned so far. Lyra, the young Zalari guard, followed him closely. She carried her weapon lightly but with readiness in her eyes. "We have reports of unusual activity near the eastern wing," Lyra said. "I do not think it is an accident. Some nobles are unhappy with your presence." Luke frowned. He had already noticed Lord Zeven watching him during council meetings. The older noble's disapproval had been clear. "We cannot let fear or anger guide us," he said. "We do our duty. That is what the life oath demands." Lyra nodded. "Good. Then we begin your real training. Not just fighting, but tests of honor, decision, and loyalty. The council and the palace staff will observe. Some will try to trick you, human." They arrived at the training grounds. The area was large, filled with weapons, strange machines, and holographic targets. Luke inspected everything carefully. He had fought in wars before, but the Zalari style was different. It focused on precision, timing, and ritual. Every motion had meaning. "First, you learn their rituals," Lyra said. She demonstrated a series of movements with her weapon. She moved like water, her steps flowing but deliberate. Luke copied her slowly. His movements were stiff at first. She corrected him, showing patience but strictness. "Do not think of this as fighting," she said. "Think of it as balance, respect, and control. The life oath is more than saving the queen. It is being ready for everything, every challenge." Luke practiced for hours. Sweat ran down his face. His arms ached, and his legs felt heavy, but he continued. He remembered the blast that had almost killed him. He remembered Queen Riala's hand on his shoulder and her words about honor and trust. He would not fail. Later, in the council chamber, some nobles gathered to observe him. They asked questions meant to confuse him. One asked about human wars. Another questioned why humans valued life differently. Luke answered honestly but carefully. He did not argue or boast. He simply spoke about human mistakes, courage, and hope. The nobles whispered among themselves. Some were impressed by his calm and clarity. Others scowled, feeling challenged by a human answering with honesty and respect. Luke did not care about approval. He only wanted to understand and act correctly. After the council session, Riala summoned him to the palace gardens. She had been watching quietly from a distance. "You are learning quickly," she said. "But now comes a true test. Loyalty is not only shown in calm moments, it is shown when danger appears unexpectedly." Before Luke could respond, alarms rang throughout the palace. Red lights flashed. A power failure hit the eastern wing. Doors locked. A reactor core began to overheat. Smoke and sparks filled the corridors. "Move quickly," Lyra said. "We must stabilize it. Do not panic." Luke ran alongside her. The hum of energy and the hiss of leaking gas made his ears ring. He crawled through narrow maintenance shafts, checking systems and wiring. His hands worked fast, human skills from wars and field repairs coming naturally. Lyra coordinated the guards and directed people away from danger. Her voice was calm, but firm. "Everyone stay clear. Follow orders." The reactor glowed dangerously. Luke identified a sabotaged component. Someone had planted a device to cause the failure. He knew this was no accident. Political enemies or outsiders were trying to make the humans look weak. He worked quickly, replacing the faulty part with a temporary fix, while Lyra held the area safe. Sweat dripped from his brow. Sparks flew. His fingers burned slightly, but he ignored the pain. Every second mattered. Finally, the reactor stabilized. Alarms stopped. The doors unlocked. Human medics and Zalari engineers checked for injuries. No one was hurt. The crisis was over. Queen Riala arrived shortly after. She placed a hand on Luke's shoulder. "You have done well," she said. "This is more than skill. It is judgment, courage, and loyalty. You have honored the life oath." Luke shook his head. "I was just doing what was needed." Riala smiled faintly. "Then you understand it already. The life oath is action, not words. It is how we respond when all seems lost." Later, Luke and Lyra examined the sabotage more closely. They found a small metallic shard with symbols that suggested a foreign alien influence. It was designed to mislead investigators, but Luke noticed irregularities. He suspected someone inside the palace had assisted the outsiders. "Lord Zevon is behind this," Lyra said quietly. "I have seen him meet with unknown figures in secret. He wants to break the trust between humans and the Queen. He thinks the life oath is a weakness he can exploit." Luke nodded. He understood now that the life oath had put him in more than a personal bond. It had made him a symbol, a target for those who feared change or influence from humans. The next days were spent training, learning, and preparing. Luke and Lyra practiced combat together. Humans used flexibility and improvisation. Zalari style was formal and ritualized. They adapted to each other's skills. Rumors of the humans' bravery spread in the palace. Servants, guards, and young Zalari watched him with curiosity and respect. Even some nobles began to see that his calm courage and quick thinking could be valuable. One evening, Queen Riala called Luke to a private chamber. She was seated near a glowing pool, her robes reflecting softly in the water. "You are not just my guardian," she said. "You are now part of our story. Your actions shape not only your life, but the lives of many. The life oath is a responsibility. It is also a connection to my people." Luke looked at her. "I do not fully understand, but I want to learn. I want to do right by the oath and by you." She nodded. "That is enough for now. In time, you will see that the oath is not a chain, but a bridge. It brings people together who might otherwise remain apart. It can prevent war, create trust, and build something stronger than fear." As he left, Luke realized how much his life had changed. He was far from Earth, bound to a queen in a culture filled with rules he did not fully understand. Yet he felt alive in a way he had never felt before. He had purpose. He had trust. He had honor. Not all were pleased. Lord Zevon continued his plotting. He whispered to allies, planning ways to manipulate the situation, make humans look weak, and turn the palace against the Queen. He did not know that Luke was learning, observing, and preparing. One night, as Luke walked through the palace corridors, he overheard voices. Some nobles spoke of fear, others of manipulation. He noted every detail silently. He realized that the life oath required more than bravery. It required awareness, wisdom, and the courage to act before danger reached the Queen. Lyra joined him quietly. "You are learning well," she said. "But be careful. Some see your loyalty as a threat. Stay alert." Luke nodded. "I will." The life oath is more than just protecting her from weapons. It is protecting her from those who would use tradition and fear against her. As the days passed, they uncovered more small plots and hidden threats. Each time, Luke acted with calm skill and clear judgment. He was no longer just a human soldier who had jumped in front of a blast. He had become a trusted figure in the palace, a partner to Lyra, and a guardian in both mind and body. Queen Riala watched him from a distance during council meetings. She noted how he treated others with respect, how he acted without seeking glory, and how he adapted to the Zalari ways without losing his own sense of self. She began to speak of him openly, calling him her oath-bound guardian in public ceremonies. This caused tension among some nobles, but also inspired others. They saw a human standing calmly beside a queen, proving that bravery and honor could cross worlds. The life oath was no longer just a strange alien tradition. It had become a symbol of unity and courage. Late one night, Luke trained alone in the palace arena. His body was tired, his mind alert. Sparks flew from the practice dummies as he moved through sequences of human and Zalari techniques. Lyra watched silently, ready to correct him, ready to defend him if needed. He paused for a moment, looking at the stars through the open ceiling. He thought of Earth, of his comrades, of the battles he had fought and the people he had saved. He realized that this new life, bound to a queen and a people he had barely known, was another battlefield, not with weapons alone, but with loyalty, wisdom, and honor. He felt ready. The life oath was more than survival. It was connection, responsibility, and a promise. He had taken a blow meant for a queen. He had lived. Now he would act to honor the bond, protect the queen, and face whatever dangers the future held. The palace was quiet, but Luke knew the challenges were only beginning. Lord Zaven's plots, hidden enemies, and unexpected threats awaited. Yet he also knew that with Queen Riala, Lyra, and his own courage, he could meet them. The life oath was his guide, and he intended to honor it fully. Under the alien stars, Luke Carter prepared for the trials ahead. He was no longer just a human soldier. He was a guardian, a partner, a symbol of honor and courage, bound by an oath that would shape not only his life, but the future of two worlds.